Imagine a world of sprawling empires, bustling trade routes, and cities of gold and bronze. The Hittites forged iron, the Egyptians built monumental temples, and the Mycenaeans sailed the Mediterranean, their palaces filled with unimaginable wealth. This was the Late Bronze Age, a glorious era of interconnected civilizations. But then, around 1177 BC, something happened. Within the span of a single generation, nearly every major civilization in the eastern Mediterranean and the Near East crumbled into dust. The great empires vanished, cities were burned to the ground, and entire populations disappeared. It was a catastrophe so profound that it plunged the world into a dark age that lasted for centuries. This is the story of the Bronze Age collapse, a time when civilization, as it was known, simply stopped. For centuries, historians and archaeologists have grappled with a single, haunting question: what caused this widespread devastation? It's one of history's greatest mysteries, a complex puzzle with many missing pieces. The devastation was staggering. The powerful Hittite Empire in Anatolia, a rival to Egypt itself, was completely obliterated. Great cities like Hattusa were abandoned, their archives falling silent forever. In Greece, the magnificent Mycenaean civilization, with its warrior kings and citadel palaces, disintegrated. Cities like Mycenae, Tiryns, and Pylos were destroyed and deserted. Even the mighty new kingdom of Egypt, which managed to survive, was severely weakened. It lost its vast territories in Canaan and Syria and retreated into a period of isolation and decline. The intricate network of trade that had connected these empires, shipping goods like tin, copper, grain, and olive oil across the seas, completely fell apart. Writing systems were lost, artistic traditions forgotten, and architectural knowledge vanished. It was as if the lights went out across the civilized world. One of the most compelling and dramatic explanations comes directly from the ancient records, particularly from the Egyptians. They speak of a mysterious and terrifying confederation of invaders they called the Sea Peoples. According to inscriptions from the reign of Ramesses III, these enigmatic raiders came from the sea in their warships, laying waste to everything in their path. The Egyptians recorded that no land could stand before their arms, listing powerful kingdoms that had already fallen victim to their onslaught. These weren't just pirates or a simple invading army. They were described as a migrating horde, a coalition of different ethnic groups displaced from their homelands, traveling with their families in ox carts, searching for a new place to settle. The identities of these groups are still debated, but Egyptian reliefs give us names like the Peleset, who are often identified with the Philistines of the Bible, the Tjeker, the Shikalesh, and the Denyen. Their origins are uncertain, possibly hailing from the Aegean, Anatolia, or even as far west as Sicily and Sardinia. Ramesses III met them in two decisive battles, one on land in Syria and one in the Nile Delta. The Egyptians managed to repel the invasion, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. The effort exhausted the kingdom, and though Egypt survived, it was a shadow of its former self. The Sea Peoples theory provides a clear aggressor, a tangible force of destruction that could account for the burned cities and widespread chaos that archaeologists have uncovered. But could a band of seaborne raiders, no matter how ferocious, truly bring down an entire interconnected system of powerful empires all at once? Many experts believe the Sea Peoples were not the cause of the collapse, but rather a symptom of it. They were likely people already uprooted by other crises, fanning the flames of a world that was already burning. This leads us to another powerful and destructive force of nature: earthquakes. The eastern Mediterranean is a seismically active region, a place where tectonic plates grind against each other. Archaeologists have uncovered extensive evidence of earthquake destruction at many Bronze Age sites, a phenomenon some call an earthquake storm. Excavations at cities like Mycenae, Tiryns, and Kition on Cyprus reveal layers of destruction with crushed skeletons, toppled walls, and collapsed buildings consistent with powerful seismic events. It's plausible that a series of major earthquakes struck the region in rapid succession, destabilizing kingdoms and wrecking critical infrastructure. An earthquake could cripple a city in minutes, destroying its palace, its granaries, and its defensive walls. Such a catastrophe would leave it vulnerable to attack or internal revolt. If multiple cities across a kingdom were hit, the the entire state could be paralyzed, unable to command its armies or feed its people. The psychological impact would have been immense as well. For people who saw the world as governed by divine forces, a series of devastating earthquakes might have been interpreted as a sign that the gods had abandoned them, shattering their social and religious order. However, like the Sea People's theory, earthquakes alone don't seem to explain everything. Civilizations in this region had dealt with earthquakes for millennia. They knew how to rebuild. Why was this time different? Why did they not recover? This suggests that these natural disasters were part of a much larger, more complex picture. Perhaps the earthquakes struck at a time when these societies were already fragile and unable to bounce back. This brings us to one of the most comprehensive and widely accepted explanations today, the idea of a general systems collapse. This theory doesn't point to a single culprit but instead suggests that the late Bronze Age world was a complex, highly specialized, and interconnected system that had become dangerously fragile. Think of it like a house of cards. The empires of the time were interdependent, relying on each other for raw materials, trade goods, and political stability. The Mycenaeans needed copper from Cyprus and tin from Afghanistan to make their bronze. The Hittites relied on grain shipments from Egypt and Syria to feed their people. The entire system was built on a delicate balance. Now, imagine several crises hitting this fragile system all at once. There is strong evidence for a prolonged period of climate change and drought around this time. Pollen analysis and lake sediment cores indicate a shift to a much drier climate, leading to widespread crop failures. This would have caused famine and mass starvation. A kingdom that couldn't feed its people would face internal rebellions and social unrest. People would have been forced to abandon their homes and migrate in search of food, potentially becoming the very sea peoples we see in the Egyptian records. So, you have famine and migration, combined with the destruction caused by the earthquake storm. You have disruptions to trade, cutting off the supply of essential materials like tin, making it impossible for armies to produce bronze weapons and armor. Suddenly, the entire system begins to buckle. Each problem amplified the others. Famine led to migration, which led to conflict. Earthquakes weakened cities, making them easy targets for invaders. The breakdown of trade impoverished the ruling elites, who could no longer afford to pay their soldiers or maintain their palaces. It was a perfect storm of cascading failures. The very complexity and efficiency that had made the Bronze Age so glorious also made it incredibly vulnerable. When one part of the system failed, it created a domino effect that brought the whole structure crashing down. The palace-centered economies, which controlled every aspect of production and redistribution, were not flexible enough to adapt to such a rapid series of shocks. So, what really caused the Bronze Age collapse? The answer is likely not one single thing. It wasn't just the sea peoples, or earthquakes, or famine alone. It was the convergence of all these factors and more, hitting a highly interconnected world at its most vulnerable point. It was a systems collapse, a catastrophic failure that saw mighty empires turn to rubble almost overnight. It's a sobering reminder from the ancient past that even the most advanced and powerful civilizations are not indestructible. They are complex systems that can, under the right pressures, simply stop. The world that emerged from the ashes of the Bronze Age was a simpler, poorer, and more isolated one. But in the long run, this collapse paved the way for the rise of new peoples and new ideas, eventually leading to the classical civilizations of Greece and Rome. The story of the collapse is a crucial chapter in our shared human history, a stark warning, and a testament to our enduring ability to rebuild. If you find these journeys into the mysteries of the past as fascinating as I do, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Historical Repo, for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world.